I don't know. I smell a rat there somewhere. I'm not sure what's up, but something is not quite according to Hoyle. And I imagine we'll find out sooner or later. But we've got a tag team match coming up right now on All-Star Wrestling. Looking into the ring, you see Terry the Ripper Rivera, 260-pounder, 6'3" from Hollywood, California. And his partner from Sarasota, Florida, the Great Scott. Gee, it's hard to say. 6'11", 225 pounds, Dave Scott have a match against Davis and Tenta. John Tenta, Koto Tenta, the Canadian sumo wrestler, back in the professional wrestling business and back here at All-Star Wrestling, teamed up with Rick Davis for this tag team match, a 15-minute time limit. In this match, Susie Tanner, the referee, Tenta and Davis, and immediately, look at this as Dave Scott, right off the top of the match, tries to go to work on John Tenta, and I think that might have been a relatively large mistake here, Mauro.
It certainly was, Ed. It could have been a smart move if it would have worked, but as you see, there's a consequence, an elbow to the chest, and Dave Scott is down. And if I could just make a quick comment about the preceding match that we just witnessed, that was one of the most disgusting, if not the most disgusting act I've ever seen in professional wrestling. And I am going to push for immediate action against Diamond Timothy Flowers. And if it was left up to me, I would go so far as to maybe possibly strip him of his world title, because there's no need for that in professional wrestling. Just animalistic.
I certainly think you're right. And Mauro Ranallo, for our viewers, is from the UWA. He's a representative of the UWA who has been studying the situation at All-Star Wrestling now for the last couple of months, preparing a very major report for the Universal Wrestling Alliance. And it shall be interesting to see what that report is. It will also be interesting to see if we can get some action from that report, Mauro.
I certainly hope so, Ed, because I'm sure the fans and the viewers are sick and tired of seeing the actions taken by Diamond Timothy Flowers, John Sayers, and so on.
Well, right here you see Dave Scott going to work on Rick Davis. Now, if there's at least a good thing about this match, I don't see any Fuzzy Sayers. I don't see any Neil Drumstick or anybody like that walking around the ring.
That can give me a break. I think Colonel Sanders asked for Neil Drumstick, Ed, so that's probably why you don't see him around here.
That's a pretty good point, but, you know, Colonel Sanders usually has quality chickens, and I don't think Neil would fit that category.
You have a point there.
Well, here's Davis now taking over on Rivera. This guy's a big fella as well. Ripper Rivera, 260 pounds, and I think maybe he suffers a little bit from the Dave Scott School of Wrestling. Spends too much time on his beard and his hairdo and not enough time working out.
Too much time trying to look pretty and not enough time working out in the gym, possibly on his wrestling. Oh, and a double clothesline from Tenta and Davis, and that tags Mr. Rivera right in the chest.
Now here's Rivera coming off the ropes. I'm kind of wondering what has happened to Gary Allen, whether he'll be here for future matches today or what the situation is and what exactly the UWA is going to do to a Diamond Timothy Flowers. I mean, striking a referee with a chair obviously has to warrant some kind of very severe reprimand.
I think something in the neighborhood of a severe fine is in order, but like I say, if that kind of action continues, all I can say is that the UWA should take some severe action so far as to maybe strip him, Ed.
Well, that certainly would be interesting to see that happen. And I think that that could be the alternative, and it will be interesting to see what the UWA does. I know there's going to be some repercussions on Diamond Timothy Flowers. You can't do that and forget about it. Look at Rick Davis pick that man up.
Gave him a good power slam and has Rivera stunned right now.
Always amazes me. You know, Davis, again, 187-pounder. Yeah, he's obviously in really good shape, works out well. But to pick up a guy like Rivera at 260 pounds so convincingly and slam him like that, you got to be strong.
It takes a lot in the neighborhood of stamina and strength, Ed, and he's got it all. There he is, clocks him with an elbow.
Gets that elbow up there. Back across the ring. Flying drop kick from Davis, lands it beautifully.
You know,
oh, look at this. I thought Davis was going to just land a haymaker on Dave Scott there for a second, but he's not going to bother. He's going to just bring in Big John.
And you mean big, I'm sure, Ed, because this man is absolutely huge. And there he goes with the elbow.
How big this man is. Sometimes I forget to say that. Mauro, thank you for reminding me that Big John Tenta is 370 pounds. And there's 6'6".
And over-the-shoulder backbreaker, which could be a submission hold. Yes, it is.
No question. That is the end of it. A submission from Rivera. You don't see that very often, the over-the-shoulder backbreaker like that. And as Mauro pointed out, a definite submission. Ending that match quickly. We're going to ringside. Another convincing victory from that big guy, Big John Tenta. But first, right now, I want to talk to Rick Davis. I don't even want to talk about that match. I want to talk about the match before. Diamond Timothy Flowers taking a chair and hitting the referee over the head with a chair. Now, there has to be some kind of retaliation.
That's it. Time after time, you see Timothy Flowers, what he does, it never changes. A man is never going to change the way he wrestles.
Can you believe those girls said he's a nice guy?
I think they've been misled, very misled, about Diamond Timothy Flowers.
I've got to be very misled, but I don't know. I think that that kind of an action where you have wrestlers who are in the ring, and I mean, let's face it, the only law and order we have in wrestling is the referee, and when the referee is put out of action like that, what kind of a match is that?
That's it. The referees do the best job they can, and you get guys like Flowers, Ivan Gorky, who stretch the rules so far, there's stuff we don't need. You know, Flowers is like a fine Christmas present. The wrapper is nice and pretty, but once you open up the gift, it's something that you don't want.
I don't know. That wrapper looks a little tainted to me as well.
That's it.
Well, I think that we're going to have to get some situation. You know, Dale Houston's been talking about forming a little bit of a group to kind of, the moose is loose here. I get a feeling that there's a match going to come up here, Mr. Tenta, with this guy, because he keeps coming out when you're around.
I don't know what you're doing here, Morowski. You came out last week and come out this week. I don't know what you're trying to prove.
It's this man challenge. It's the match. You want a match with John Tenta here. You can have a match with him, or you want to get yourself a partner, Morowski. We'll challenge you to a tag match. It doesn't matter. Get anyone you want. We'll take you on. We're not afraid of you.
You know what? You're going to eat them words you just said. Tenton, I'll admit one thing. You're probably going to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers ever coming to Canada. Next to Moose Borowski. Remember that. And mark my words. And you little snotty punk, you want me to get a partner? I'll get a partner. I'll tell you what. I'll come out with a BC Hulk. We will wrestle you two idiots in a tag match. And I want to tell you something. We're going to use you as a toothpick and ram you right through your heart. Because that's what you got. You haven't got no guts. You got no heart. And you know what you haven't got? You haven't got the brains to carry them big size 18 shoes and that 375
You're going to feel those size 18 feet right in your head.
Feet in yours.
You're going to feel them right
I want to tell you something.
He's getting a little out of control. And I think this would be a very good time for me to leave right about now. We'll be back with another just a few moments.